So welcome everyone to the Skill Booster for Hybrid Working. It's the new normal, the new world. Really looking forward to sharing with you over the next 25-30 minutes. There will be time for questions and I'll stay on for a little afterwards if you have any additional questions that I can help you with today. But thank you for joining. Hybrid is definitely what we're used to now. So brief introduction to myself. I am a productivity ninja. That's a photo of me. I've only ever taken one ninja photo and it's very rare, but we're all about fun and making work as great as it can be, loving what we're doing at Think Productive. So there's my email address. Please feel free to take a picture of this. It will come up later. Love to hear from you if there's anything I can help with. I'm going to be offering a couple of things that you're welcome to email me on. Again, there's my details. Feel free to link LinkedIn with me, and that's our Facebook and Instagram page. We share a lot of tips from time to time, and welcome to those of you that are already Productivity Ninja customers and clients of ours. And of course, those that are just checking us out, welcome. I hope you enjoy the next half hour. So let me get right into this. The Productivity Ninja training program is based on a book written by Graham Alcott, who ended up creating a global training organization, which we're part of here in Australia. So there's a number of ninjas of it. My journey is that I found reading the book was a bit of a life changer. I actually attended some workshops as a client and did a Remington, loved it so much I joined the company. I found it life changing, and I'll talk a little bit about some of the things that I've found today and loving sharing with you all. But yeah, the book really, as I say, it's about worrying less, achieving more, and loving what you do. And got some good news for you. By attending today, you will actually receive an electronic copy of this book through our Ninja Academy, which I'll share with you now. It's an email will come out in the next this morning, and with a link for a 3-month complimentary membership to the Academy. There's a lot of things in there. Most people go in and download the book. Obviously, you can buy it. It's a great read. But yeah, the electronic copy will be in there. There's also a lot of videos, tips, tricks you can browse through, and it's definitely worth a look. But yeah, we really hope you will get something out. It's almost a guarantee of ours that you'll get something out of this next half an hour that makes a real difference and you can implement straight away. So let's get into it. The 5 tips that we want to share. I'm going to start with the first one. This is around the hybrid work. It's we define hybrid as 2 or 3 days at home, 2 or 3 days in the office. I know there are variations, but that's what we've based this program around. This program is in fact a 90-minute program in its short form, and we do run longer workshops, but obviously you're getting a small snippet today. So promised you 5 tips. The first one is having what we call a ready, able to travel toolkit that is flexible. So what do we mean by that? It's really using your weapons, using them well, and that's one of our ninja characteristics. And I guess in this context, technology is really the key focus here. So you go into the office tomorrow or Monday, have everything ready to go so you don't have to waste valuable energy or thought planning it. So obviously a laptop, maybe have a spare power cord at home and the office, have maybe multiple items that you can use, or like me, I carry a portable mouse around with me that's critical. So again, the book talks a lot about a whole range of productivity tips, and this is off the back of one of them, of just being really prepared for that commute from a technology sense, and obviously whatever else you need to take. So yeah, hopefully you'll have an ability to have a library of tools and resources that you can share between your 2 offices. So simple tip, but very effective. The next one is around starting your day with a commute. Now, we know the new normal here is that we used to go into town. I caught a bus in today. There was a few people on it. I'm based in Sydney, into town where I'm running this webinar from Clifton's. Thanks, Clifton's, for hosting us. But the commute used to be a really great way to get into the mindset for work in every way and prepare. And obviously, just as important as the commute in as the commute out. and making it very much a transition, as we know, between our work and home place. And of course, that's disappeared with the hybrid working, particularly at home. And you know, we fall into habits, and I'd love to actually hear from you. I want to ask you what your commute is, and I want to share some of these things. So please type into the chat, what are some of the ways you've broken up your day with a commute that we can share with all of us? And I've got a few tips I'd love to share, as far as not just setting yourself up for the day. Obviously a walk is a common one, but there's some really creative ways to do that. And it's good to mix it up, right? I find variation is really key here. So what is your daily commute? And what is your morning and evening commute? So please type into the chat, and I'll have a look at what's there to share with you, if it is to share with me as a presenter, and maybe design what the new commute would be off the back of thinking, or certainly hearing from some other ideas. Daycare drop off, thanks Sarah. Absolutely, you know, these are great things. Just a quick car trip. Yes, bike riding is fantastic. A beach walk, yeah, absolutely, is a great one to do. Lots of deep breaths of fresh air, absolutely. And we'll talk a bit more about that later. Walking around the farm, chill, listen to the radio in the car on the way to work, absolutely. Get out of my pajamas, very effective. We'll talk a bit about that in a minute. And yeah, train, walking out the front door. And some people have been commuting the whole time, and I'm actually hearing from a lot of our clients that the commute now is more valuable than it's ever been. And people actually are savouring that time for the reasons we talk about. Excellent. So thank you for sharing, and please continue to share if you feel like it. Yeah, riding my bike, grabbing a coffee, classical music, excellent. So yeah, I'd love to put out, I guess, a bit of a challenge to you all, just to maybe think about your new commute, maybe mix it up, keep it alive, and keep doing things that you love. And yeah, that was our tip number 2. So as I say, very short, sharp tips today. Okay, the next one is what we call the concept of enclothed cognition. Now, there's been studies done around this, which essentially is not working in your pajamas. And at Productivity Ninja World, one of the characteristics is human, not superhero. And if you feel like working in your pajamas, that's absolutely fine. I actually took a call with the US yesterday, and I wasn't in my pajamas, but I hadn't dressed for work, and that was okay for a little bit. But the concept of enclosed cognition is that it actually does really affect the way you work by what you are wearing. Now, I'm not saying you should wear a full suit, or you know, you definitely need to dress up in a way that's not ideal. But I find even if it's a nice shirt, and you know, just wearing some dress shorts, for instance, and bare feet is okay. But I've prepared myself for work. The study talks about white coats, and actually put people through in control groups with white coats without. When they talked about being scientists, people actually were far more productive just by believing they're in that scientist mode and wearing the white lab coat. But interestingly, when they said, okay, you're now a painter, the productivity didn't increase in that scientific experiment. So it's relevance to what you're wearing, and I guess it's cultural as well. And for a lot of us on team calls and Zoom calls, clearly we need to adapt to the environment, and I totally understand that as well. So enclosed cognition is definitely something we need to think about. There's an expression that's really interesting that we're hearing now, that we're not working from home anymore, we're actually sleeping in the office. And it's sort of interesting, isn't it? Whether you're 2 or 3 days or more or less, yeah, the home definitely feels more like the office. So I think this is more important than ever. And again, you know, the end of the day, changing, I love doing that, whether I do a walk or exercise, just getting into you know, something more relaxing, typically shorts and t-shirt for me. So that was our tip number 3. Now, those of you that are existing clients of ours would have heard boss thinking before, but it's one of the most powerful concepts that we have, and I want to talk a little bit more about how does that work for hybrid working and thinking. So the concept here is what we call worker boss, and we are both. Obviously, when we're the worker, Very easy, particularly with emails, and we talk a lot about email management. We're not covering that today, but I'll let you know at the end sort of how that works as far as our programs. But the continual emails, I was guilty this morning. I opened my email before 6 a.m. and not a great start to the day. I'll try not to do that. But when you're a worker, you're just not in boss mode. And boss mode is so critical to you actually stepping back and thinking, how do I want to run this webinar? How do I want to plan my day? What will I achieve today? And we'll talk a little bit about that in a moment. So having that concept of when am I a worker, when am I a boss is absolutely key. And the first thing that we talk about each day, which is a very simple tip, but we all use it. In fact, we share our checklist and our top 5 tips with each other at Think Productive, and it's an accountability thing, right? So I want to run through this a little because those of you that haven't seen it is very powerful. This is one example. And by the way, if you would like me to email this to you in a PDF form, please just pop your email address to me in the chat now or later, and I'll get it out to you today, so you don't need to take photos or notes. So firstly, it's thinking about yesterday. I actually did that last night. I went through my notebook. I had a meeting, and I reviewed my notes and picked up things that I thought I was aware of, but just by reviewing really made a difference to this discussion I have with a client. The second part is a second brain. Now, the second brain is a very important concept we help people develop through our workshops, but it's essentially having everything, not just your to-do list, but everything that's going on in your head in a different place that takes it out of your awareness, and it allows your attention to be focused on what you want to focus on, whether it's worker or boss mode. So what is in your second brain? Review that for the actions you need to take today. The most important one is choose 5 priority tasks for today. They don't all need to be work related. I typically would have one that is about my well-being, and we'll talk a bit more about that towards the end of this. But it's 5 things that you want to achieve today that are not including processing emails. It's actually what you want to achieve. Could be from a major project, could be from a minor project, could be from something you've been putting off. As we know, the feeling of checking that off, and I wasn't a big to-do list fan, to be honest. I was very electronic, and this was a change for me to adopt. But yeah, the feeling at the end of the day when you share what you've done, if you are sharing with someone else, is incredible. Obviously, just feeling that sense of achievement. But planning it is more important. Cheating and putting it down at 4 o'clock when you've added something to the list doesn't feel quite so good. Then we need to think about when we will go dark to get the big stuff done. I'll cover this a little bit more in the next section, but what times in the day can we apply ourselves to get the big things, the big rocks some people refer to get them done? Because if we don't block our time, obviously the day can fall away from us. Number 2, so number 1 is really critical. Feels like a lot, but you can do that really quickly. This could be a 5-minute exercise once you get into it. Number 2 is checking the calendar for not just today, but the next day or 2 at least, and adding actions to the second brain. You know, there's always obviously things to prepare for. If you're not prepared, adds to stress and takes away your productivity, obviously. So just look through. You might need to move meetings, and there's some great concepts around when's the best time for you to meet, when your energy is best. So let me know if you have any questions around energy. Thirdly is, what am I resisting and what help do I need? And quite often we don't ask ourselves that question enough, and there's always help, whether it's a co-worker or someone not related to our business even that can give us some help. 4th is just to check in with yourself. How do I feel today? We'll cover this again a bit later, but what energy levels do we have? Am I actually not feeling well? Am I feeling really tired? Just taking a check and maybe building that into your day as well. Maybe adapting your morning commute to re-energize the energy levels, and possibly catching up with a person's a great way to do that, or a stranger for coffee even. Process emails, inbox to zero is one of the key things we do at Productivity Ninja that I know some of you probably would be aware of. Very, very empowering to have your inbox to zero to start the day. and again, that's not covered in this webinar, but yeah, I'll cover what we do later. So they're the top 5 things. That's the daily checklist. And again, please email me if you'd like me to send you a copy. All right, the 5th tip for today, and I'm actually going to share you a bonus tip as well, is going dark. Now, going dark is a technology-related term, but what it refers to is our characteristic of stealth and camouflage. Now, hybrid working is very different to office working, as we know. Graham in his podcast says that the greatest killer of productivity can be the open plan office. As we know, there's a lot of benefits to that as well. But working in a home environment, there's the ability to go dark much more often. So if you are in an office, obviously, it's a little hard to get away. You sometimes need to get away from your workstation. You maybe find an office or a coffee shop or something. Obviously, if you're going dark and planning an hour short or longer, you need to ensure your colleagues, team, leaders, whoever needs to know, clients, that you're offline. Because if your phone's on and your emails are still coming in, obviously that will defeat the purpose of going dark. So, some people obviously put a calendar invitation saying, planning or whatever you might want to call it. Some people are very creative with that, but it's essentially a matter of stepping away and finding that time. So that is one of the key ways to do that. But obviously the physical part is not an issue at home generally, unless obviously you're sharing your office with other family members or friends, for instance, which again covers this. But if you're on your own, the biggest issue is actually technology. So going dark is not really just a matter about finding a quiet spot. More importantly, now we're getting pinged left, right, and center, instant messages, emails constantly. So I want to share with you a tip that is a little unknown, I guess, which is in the middle there, working offline on your computer. So what's involved there is you actually need to go into the send and receive menu of Outlook. And again, let me know if you want any help with this tip, but you can work offline, and obviously that just means emails are not coming in for that period of time. And you can not be distracted. Obviously, one of our best practices is not to get notifications, so you can focus on your big tasks and your top 5 and your focus areas. But working offline is key. There's another way of obviously just simple shutting off your phone by putting it on Do Not Disturb or flight mode. Very, very easy to do now, and something that can certainly stop all your messages. There's more high-tech ways to do that. I particularly love the ways of shutting down your phone after 10 p.m. and whether it be light or messages or that type of thing, or just going black and white. But certainly during the day, shutting off your phone into Do Not Disturb mode for that period of time is very powerful and very recommended, just like you would do if you're in an important meeting with a client or a colleague. The third one is an app called Forest. Now, Forest it's a bit of a gadget. I actually like to use it now and again. It's just a timer. You can certainly just use your timer on your phone to do the same. But there's a technique called the Pomodoro technique, which is essentially blocking periods of time where you get work done in a short, focused spurt of time, typically 25 minutes, but you can alter that. And then you get up and obviously having a stretch, rewarding yourself, cup of tea, walk around the house, whatever it might be, is a great way to re-energize after that short burst of time. Obviously, you can go for longer, but 25 minutes is what we feel is about the ideal. And what Forest does, it just builds you a tree, and by the end of the day, you see how many trees you've built. Very, very gadgety, but a bit of fun, and I've certainly enjoyed using that, probably over any other timer, as it has that fun aspect to it as well. All right, so that was the 5 tips that we promised you today. Very quick. I hope the pace was okay. I'm trying to get a lot into our half hour and allow a bit of time for questions at the end. But again, feel free to add to the chat. Now, we've got a bonus tip today. Thank you for giving up half an hour of your Friday morning. And all right, for those in New Zealand, I guess it's coming up to lunchtime. But the bonus tip is to take care of you. Very important. I talked about being human, not superhero. And that's one of our author and founder Graham Alcott's great principles, is that unlike other improvement productivity experts, we don't come from a position that we're perfect. Very, very far from that. We have our good days and our bad days. Obviously, we find this makes a real difference. But taking care of you is so important. And so in the terms of hybrid working, this is absolutely critical. You're isolated. We're not enjoying the corridor chats as much, and the work keeps coming, right? And anecdotally, we're hearing that people are working longer as being very blurred from the start of the day to the finish, which is why the commute is such an important thing to think about. And it really is, for a lot of us, about getting out into the sun for a little bit. Probably a lot of the tips that you've and I haven't checked the chat for a little while, but a lot of the tips that you've put in, and I will check for questions shortly, that will still apply to just giving yourself a break, stretching, rewarding yourself, and doing something that's a passion through the day, whether it be preparing a nice meal or just taking a bit of time out for yourself. So human, not superhero, is the bonus tip for today, and hopefully you can think about ways to do that for yourself and possibly encourage others. I also want to talk about how rest is really important today. So again, when we're caring for ourselves, it's very easy to be hard on ourselves and push too hard and just feel that burnout factor. There's a saying, resting is investing, and that's what lions do, right? They rest for a long period of time, and maybe we can take a page out of their book. So it's okay to rest. It's okay to take a power nap. We can now when we're working hybrid, right? And just change our working hours if that's the environment that you work in, to be far more effective. And that works for some people. And it's up to you the best time you work. It might be early morning. Some people it's actually late evening or mid-evening. So it's okay to rest when you feel like rest is needed, and definitely something we would encourage. So that's pretty much taken us up to the 25 minutes. As I say, I want to allow some time for questions and comments, and I'll have a look now at the chat. But just to summarize, here are the top 5 tips for working in a hybrid environment. Be ready to travel, be ready to move from one place to the other. Have your toolkit ready, particularly technology, but it might be something as simple as a water bottle. There's nothing more annoying. I actually forgot my clock today. I thought I packed it and everything else I had, it didn't matter. There's a clock up here, but have 2 of everything if you can. Start your day with a commute and end your day with a commute, whether it just be something simple, and it could be just talking to the neighbor. Enclothed cognition. Think about what's going to work for you to get ready, and be ready for that in a work sense. It doesn't have to be before you start your work, but certainly the right time for you in your day. Think about boss thinking. Think about when do you not be a worker and when do you actually do your planning, particularly each day. And have a ritual. Again, happy to share our daily checklist, but have a ritual that works for you. And I've seen some great ones over the time, and it differs from person to person. Number 5 is going dark. Think about Pomodoro, the Forest app, but definitely think about when you can be ruthless and stealth-like and just get things done for you that will benefit you and your work in the long run, so everyone wins. And the bonus tip, again, keep your balance in your life. Very easy to lose with hybrid working. Sleep, eat well, drink plenty of water, and have some relaxation. And do what you love, which is really what we're all about at Think Productive. So thank you very much. I can see some questions coming through, and I will get to those in just a tick. So firstly, just a little bit about us. We're doing a lot at the moment around working from home, in workshops, supercharging meetings, and also leading remote teams. So let us know if that's something you'd like to talk to anyone in your organisation about. These are our traditional programs. Inbox Zero obviously is key, and email etiquette. Meetings is becoming really popular now with hybrid, and obviously Zoom meetings being a bit burnt out with Zoom meeting after Zoom meeting. I won't go through these, but these are some other skill boosters for half an hour that we're alternating running between our Ninja team in Sydney here. And yeah, please keep an eye out for those, and hopefully you'll get some really good tips out of each one of them. Coming soon will be an individual program. As you're aware, we do programs for organisations, but this is actually individuals that can come. We're going to discount it with an early bird special, but over 6 weeks, we run some sessions on a Tuesday night to help you go through pretty much the whole curriculum, the whole philosophy of the 9 characteristics. So keep an eye out for that. The podcast I mentioned is called Beyond Busy. Really good, really interesting, great to listen to on the bus. Now, please, I'll leave this on the screen for a minute. We're all familiar with QR codes. Please just take 30 seconds if you can. It's about 3 questions. Again, my name is Gavin Nelson, and we would love your feedback. These skill boosters are something we want to do more of, clearly, and we would love anything that worked well, what you loved, what could be better, and feel free to give us that feedback, ideally now, but if not, sometime this morning would be fantastic. And before I get to your questions, remember that opportunity lies here. You've got so much flexibility in a hybrid environment. We can make this work for us. I hope today has helped. But yeah, I can definitely vouch for this working hybrid for some time now. So that's my slide. I'm going to leave this on the screen. I'm going to get to your questions. So thank you for the fantastic questions. Oh, appreciate all the great questions. Oh, sorry, bear with me. I've just gone off screen share for some reason. We're back. Okay, so sorry about that. The questions. Great, yes, I see the request for checklists. I will send them today. My pleasure, everyone's saying thanks. I'll put the QR code up again, yes, absolutely. Thank you, QR code is there on the screen. Okay, back to my chat. Your line's resting next to you, great. Okay, so what is Second Brain? So Second Brain is a system where you can have a way of retrieving all you need, not just in your to-do list, but all your projects, all the stuff in your head. We have a whole way of helping you create a second brain, but essentially it's a place where anything is stored that would distract you from your attention, because we're all about attention management, as we know we can't manage time. Hopefully that's a quick answer to a great subject of second brain. The recording, yes, the recording will be available. It'll be uploaded to YouTube. I think we'll get it up today, but definitely by Monday. Yes, step 5 every day. Thank you, Lisa. Absolutely. Okay, I can see some more requests. Creative times from 5 to 8 a.m. I can't think after 3 p.m. so use it time to network. Excellent. Thanks for sharing, Sharon. Okay, so I can see a lot of great comments, but I can't, scrolling through them. I will go through and I'll answer questions to anyone that's put their email address in. And I'm going to stop the recording now, but I will stay on for any more questions or comments. Thank you very much. So thanks for attending, everyone, and have a great day. Happy Friday.